All right, happy Monday, everybody. One trade today, a little one and done. Pre-market, I hated pretty much everything. Normally, I like to keep 6 stocks on my watch list. Today, we found like 3 that I was really interested in, if that. Even those were a bit sketchy. So I wasn't super excited about trading in general today. I changed my risk situations over the weekend, so I actually went with my smallest risk available because I knew the day was going to be rough. So turns out I did pretty well, actually. Our first trade was on NIO. This was definitely not an A+ setup, starting with, up here in our 15-minute. Just be the easiest to see here. Pre-market, we gapped up. And then we hit pretty strong. The one thing that I did like is we kind of hit this level and we just kind of were selling off into market open. So typically I don't like to short stocks like this that are pretty strong in pre-market. But as you can see on the 1 minute, big wick. Again, I don't like that. Another big wick. Don't really like that much, honestly. Probably shouldn't have taken this trade, but I went super small risk and it worked out pretty well. So ultimately I'm okay with it. I need to do a little bit more review on whether or not I actually should have taken this trade. Was it just pure luck potentially? What we were looking at though, heavy volume. This basically was saying to me that it was kind of strong. When you see those big bottom wicks and then it closes up with a small body, that means that buyers really didn't want it to go down. It came up, again, big wick up to the top. This time, though, failed the moving averages. So now I was like, okay, it's going to turn into chop zone. It actually has another candle here that's big wick to the downside. So now I'm like, okay, definitely chop. But then we sell off. We hold these moving averages. Drops down. I kind of like it to the short side. I take it short. I cover at this first wick. Probably took out too much of my position, but because I didn't really like the setup, I didn't really like these candles right here that much. I just wanted to get some of my position covered because I figured this may be my only opportunity today. I then covered again here on the 5 minute, this next level. You can't really tell because how my chart is, but there's another level here. Did it again with a big... There we go. We came back up. We tested our VWAP. We got really close to stopping out right here within a couple of pennies, and then we sell off hard. We go down. I cover at that same level again. A few extra pennies on there, which is always nice. And then I cover at the bottom here. Basically, I was playing... We had a heavy volume drop towards the yesterday's close, so I want to take a little bit off. That was also up here on our 2 minute. Right here. So I wanted to make sure we got a little piece off at that point. We then come back up. We test VWAP. We reject the moving averages. I go short, add to my position. At that point, I doubled up. I think I was at 60 shares left over right here. I doubled up, went back up to 120 here. I then covered again at this level, and then I covered at our daily, covered at our break. And then as we started to go down even further, this trade really worked out nicely. There we go. There's our last level. So we were using our 2 minute to cover at R1. We then covered at the break of the 200 on our 5 minute. As we started to come down, you can see on our VPOC, I was actually talking to Nadim about this earlier, we were obviously setting up a pretty strong level right here. As that volume just started to pile in, it was very clear that 4280, this would, if I were trading reversals, I think, this would have been a nice entry point right here on the 1 minute. After we couldn't hit this new low. This would have been nice. Heavy volume coming in. We knew we were going to bounce. I covered myself at the break of the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA has been so good to me on the 5 minute the last couple of weeks. Just going up, testing, bouncing, kind of like it did right here. So I wanted to hold. We broke it. I got out. At that point, I only had 15 shares remaining. Pretty small position. All in all, let's see. We ended up on this at about 2R. 2R. So, we kind of missed quite a bit of action right here. Like we could have should have covered some here. It's kind of disappointing that this was our lowest that we covered, was at 43.20 on a stock that went all the way down to 42.60. So that's a little bit disappointing. We're going to need to review our partialing today. I was pretty happy with, I covered at all of these low points, which is nice, but I covered too much. Missed all that. Missed it all. So, we could have made this an easy 3+R trade. That would have been an awesome Monday one and done. So again, gonna need to review how we partialed this, go through each share individually, recalculate that. At this point, kind of my partial plan is I have targets and levels, and I just kind of cover. Usually I cover thirds, but I think this one was definitely a little bit different. Just because I didn't like the setup, I covered quite a bit here and here. I was okay with covering there. That's great. Then once I got out a little bit too much here, and then I held. I only had 15 shares through all of this. I had 120, so I covered 105 shares right there in these 3 covers. So a little bit disappointing, especially on an add position. I don't want to be holding that or covering that soon. I want to be holding a little bit longer. So a little bit disappointed on that. All in all, though, it's a 2R trade. We'll take them when we get them. As you can tell, Neo came back up. We're done for the day. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good Monday. Stay green.